Hello, everyone, and welcome to now the fifth episode of the Headbangers Variety Show. And as you see on the screen, we had Simon Sez back with us. So he filled in for Glenn last week, which kind of went well. And yeah, so let's jump into it. let's jump into it real quick. So I just want to start with one little thing. So I was on eBay. I like to go on eBay to see if I can't find stuff of ours that's for sale that I could buy. And I saw these little nameplates. And I was like, oh, these would be cool. Like for this one here, like I put those there. Like if I do another thing, I can display them in the back. But I was like, I don't know if I want to buy them. But then he was selling one other little thing in the pack.
Oh.
So I had to buy it. So that's from this one here.
Yeah.
The King of the Ring. But it's funny, Simon, do you see anything different about these than the regular ones?
They don't have anything on the shirts, do they?
No,
Oh, they do a little bit. What's missing?
The face paint.
Tattoos.
All the markings. All the markings are missing.
Here don't have tattoos or face paint like the other ones do.
So it basically looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin stole your gimmick.
Well, I mean, we could say that, yes. So yeah, so I don't know. Literally, life is about the little things. So I ended up buying it all. The guy wanted like $20. I got him down to 10.
So now when you're out with a girl,
bargainer.
so now when you're out with a girl and she asks, "Can I play with Little Mosh?" You can say which one.
Yes. Well,
This
yeah.
is true.
Okay.
Glenn, how was your cruise? How was sunbathing your nipples?
It was
He
good.
probably doesn't know that reference because I'm 99.9% sure he didn't watch our show from last week.
I haven't had time. I just got home Sunday.
It's now Tuesday.
Tuesday. So I had a lot of stuff going on. The cruise was good. It was my first time on a cruise where we had 2 medical emergencies, and from what we heard, 2 people died.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is your name cleared?
Yes, I'm cleared. It was weird. We actually were on our way back to Miami from Honduras, and we had to get redirected back to Cozumel because a person on the boat got sick and a crew member was sick. So we had to go and drop them back off at Cozumel, and then we got another notice on Saturday that somebody else got ill on the boat. They didn't tell us anybody died. We just heard it through, the chatter of the boat.
Which was a notice. The chatter of the boat was a notice.
Right. But here's the funny thing about these cruise ships. They actually have a jail and a morgue in the bottom of the boat. So think about that next time you go on a cruise. Could be somebody down there.
Creepy.
So then we got told on Saturday.
Isn't that like Veterans Stadium, a jail and a morgue?
Very much like Veterans Stadium. So it led to an interesting thing. And then we got home and we found out that one of our dogs passed while we were gone. So it kind of like killed the mood of the cruise and stuff like that. So, that's what I dealt with on Sunday. And then yesterday, it's right back to the grind of work and everything else. And I had a meeting all day yesterday. And it was just,
Well, now Chaz and I are here to brighten your life.
I missed the boat.
Oh, hell. All right, go ahead, Simon.
No, it was a good time. I love them. I love cruising.
Well, there you go. Now you get to cruise along with Chaz and I because we're here to make you smile.
There you go.
So here was our cliffhanger question from last week. I texted Chaz beforehand and I said,
well, hold on. Let me set it up for Glenn because he's not aware. So Simon and I were texting the night before, and Simon sent me 2 questions that he wanted me to answer. He said, think about them and come up with an answer. So at the end of the show last week, we were just at the end of time, and he said to me, do we have time to go through your answer? And I said, no. He said, but okay, well, give me your answer. So I gave him the answer, and the answer was the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, was my answer. That's how we ended the show. So we didn't tell anybody what the question was. Well, so okay. out of the 53 people that watched last week, all they know is the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. They don't know the question. So that was kind of...
It was funny. I started to watch it, and then I heard Simon say something, and I turned it off right away. So I was one of the 53.
Oh, I'm right here. I can hear you.
I'm just kidding. I thought you were on mute. I'm just
Okay.
kidding. So go ahead. I'm dying to hear the question now.
So go ahead,
So
Simon.
the question was, tell me your personal pick. One person who never won the WWF WWE Championship that you feel should have had it, that you feel deserved it.
The World Championship?
The Granddaddy
Hart.
Championship,
Owen Hart.
which leads into our second.
But so hold on. So that leads into the second question. But I saw something online that
Where he won it at a house show.
who?
Owen.
No, I'm not talking about Owen. I'm talking about Ted
Okay.
DiBiase. So the story is, I think it was WrestleMania 4 when they did the tournament for the belt, and Macho Man won the belt at the tournament. I think it was WrestleMania 4, or maybe it was 5. But anyway, he won the belt. Ted DiBiase was supposed to win the belt on that tournament. Pat Patterson went up to Ted DiBiase and said, "Hey, what if you did not win the belt?" He goes, "Just picture this." And of course, DiBiase was like, "What do you mean? Why wouldn't I want to win the belt?" He goes, "If you don't win the belt," he goes, "there'll be more heat on you as one of the top heels in the company for not winning it. Then you can turn around and snub everybody and basically say, 'Fuck you, your title sucks. I'm going to make my own title.'" Out comes the $1 million belt.
Oh, wow.
That's the story behind DiBiase was supposed to be winning it, not winning it, and how the $1 million belt came out. But even before I saw that story, that DiBiase popped into my head because he was such a strong heel. He was a great worker. He's great on the mic.
Yeah.
Tons of heat. Like, to me, that he was the one that never won it. But I guess he was supposed to. And then Pat Patterson said, "Look at the heat and longevity you're going to get if you don't win the belt. It's going to be more if you don't win the belt, and then you create your own title where you're basically like, 'Fuck you, your title sucks.'" It's kind of like, Glenn and I being tag team champions of the universe.
Of the universe.
Right.
So when Chaz said his answer, I marked out for it because I completely forgot that DiBiase doesn't count as champion. I thought when he bought the belt from Andre that he was in the record books, and he's not.
Not.
But my answer was Owen Hart too. I said, I didn't say it last week, but Owen, which leads into the second question, which you already answered, but now I'm interested to see what Chaz says. If Owen Hart hadn't, passed away the way he did, do you genuinely believe at one point or another he would have become WWF champion? Yes or no?
I think 100% yes. I know Owen wasn't happy when he was doing the Blue Blazer gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would have passed. And I think, if I don't know if Owen would have stayed after Brett left.
Oh, really?
Longer. You don't know. I mean, who's to say Owen's contract wasn't up soon and he wasn't going to follow Brett to WCW? I don't know. These are all questions that we'll never know. But do I think he would have been champ afterwards? Yes. Either WWE or WCW.
So I asked a few people at the NWA that. Some of them that said no because look at the gimmick he was doing when he died. And I said, yeah, but people have come back from worse.
So here's my answer. My answer is the Owen that we knew leading up to it. No. Wow. I think Owen would have had to change. Well, because I kind of mentioned last week the list of champions when we were there. And I'm going with our era when we were there. There was more serious people. Shawn got serious. You had Sid, you had Brett, you had Taker, you had Steve, you had Kane, you had The Rock. You had the only kind of goofy character in there was Mankind. The rest of them were all more. Owen's characters or the storylines I always put him in, he was kind of the goofball. He was kind of the goofball. Like even with him and Davey Boy, he was still kind of the goofball. So he would have had to change, in my opinion, he would have had to change that goofball persona to win the title, to win the WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it, the World Championship. Again, my opinion, was he deserving of it? Was he worked well? Was his mic work? Everything was great. I just think they would have had to transition him into something of a more serious, I guess, personality.
I can see that.
And I don't know if that was Owen. You know, does that make sense?
Well, I mean, he did it a little bit against Shamrock in the dungeon match that they had.
And he did it against Brett when it was brother versus brother.
Right.
So I mean, there's always that chance. These are just things that we'll never know.
No.
So
Yeah, see, my opinion is, if for any other reason, I think somebody would have pulled the trigger to put the belt on Owen. If any reason, just to spite Brett. Like, hey, look what we did with your brother. Like, we're gonna make him, or try to make him, an even bigger star.
Yeah, I didn't think
when he
about
went
that
to
angle.
WCW.
Yeah, I didn't think about that angle, but yeah, I just think he would have had to get more serious. And I mean, I realized Sean got goofy with DX when he had the belt, but when they first put the belt on him, when he split up with Marty, and they started pushing him, he became more serious. He didn't become goofy until, and I'm only saying this,
Yes.
I watched his biography on the A&E channel, until he started getting all fucked up. Then he kind of just went into that with Hunter, trying to recreate something after the whole click thing and the thing in Madison Square Garden and all that. That's when he started getting goofier. Sean did anyway, which created heat with Brett.
Quick question. Did you guys ever get fucked with by the Click? Did you guys ever have bad run-ins with them?
Never,
No.
never, not once.
But you guys had interactions with them, right?
All the time. I mean, even when we see Kevin to this day, he'll come out over and talk to us. You know, we did a signing, sometime last year in New Jersey, and Brett was there. And he came over to us and everything else. Like, we were waiting to talk to him, but then he saw us and he walked over to us. And the one thing he said to me and Chaz that it took us back. He goes, I always thought of you guys as one of my boys.
Wow.
And that, I mean, still even like hearing him say that and remembering it and stuff like that gives me goosebumps and stuff like that. And it just meant a lot, because Brett used to take us in the back after one of our matches and say, hey, you guys should try to do this. You guys should try to do that. But Sean did the same thing. Sean used to, give us suggestions and pointers and stuff like that. So it was just a different time then. That made everything cool. So yeah, hearing Brett say that, Chaz knows, because we both looked at each other and went, whoa.
Yeah, but we kind of got there full time right when Kevin and Scott were gone. They already jumped to WCW.
Oh,
so we were there more doing like as extras, jobbers or enhancement guy, whatever the fuck they call them now. There with them, but they didn't mess with anybody because we weren't, we were jobbers. So they didn't really. There was really no interaction other than when I worked Kevin as Diesel and he left knuckle marks on my forehead.
Oh,
well, that's when he used the punch as a finisher, and I kind of stepped into it a little too much, and it was all good.
Did he bust you open or just the knuckle marks?
No, just it was the gloves. The gloves kind of clipped me, but it was fine.
Well, that kind of gives me the idea for one of the cliffhanger questions. But there's something you mentioned to me after our episode last week about a certain WWE ring announcer that's getting a tremendous amount of screen time for some reason. Screen time that Howard Finkel never got, Tony Chimmel never got, Lillian Garcia never got.
So that's my question, is like, because all this stuff's coming up, and it came up more right after WrestleMania because she gets so emotionally involved in the matches. And I guess when Cody won the belt, like, she was breaking down, like doing the announcement, trying to announce him as winning. Right. I mean, I get it, but you have a job to do. You're there to do a job.
Be professional.
But my point is, why is there always a camera on her? Why? Is that her setup? Like, someone from the office do that? But the bigger question is, why? And then there's all these reels and clips of her all the time. And I realize the way she gets into it, her whole body quivers and everything else. And I know she's engaged to Ricochet and all that stuff, but why is there a camera on the ring announcer all the time?
So I want to think, and I'm thinking as a fan's perspective, I want to think that maybe she's not smart to the outcomes of the match, and they're getting a real reaction from somebody inside the business. Like, she's in business.
But why? Why do we
maybe
care?
She's not aware.
But why do we care how the ring announcer reacts? You can just look at the crowd.
Yeah, I was going to say, get a genuine reaction from the paying fans.
Not someone
I
you're
mean,
paying.
I don't know. I like it because it kind of reels you in a little bit more, going, oh, look, she's so invested, into the match. And I don't know. I like it. I think it's cool. It's different. Tony Chimmel and Finkel weren't the best to look at anyway. It's not like they were attractive.
Well, I can see.
But anyway,
I can see what Glenn is saying. Like, it's cool, maybe for the Cody win, to say, look, he finished the story, but they do it all the time now.
Yeah,
it's all the time.
Yeah,
because it got such. I think because it got such a reaction.
Yeah, but no, it was even before Cody though. They've been doing it for a long time. They put a camera on her, and I've seen clips of her way before Cody won the belt, so it was way before that. So it has nothing to do with Cody winning the belt. It's just, to me, it's why do we want to see the ring announcer? Like, she's there to be heard, not seen. I'd rather see the talent than see her.
I think she adds more to the whole atmosphere of it. And I think it draws people in more.
So let me ask you a question. How does it draw people in more seeing her announce a winner a month after the match already happened?
Because when you see somebody so emotionally behind something, like when you go to a funeral and you're not really close to somebody and stuff like that, and you see everybody else upset, you're genuinely going to be upset because you're going to feel for that person. So when I'm thinking, when they're seeing her on TV and they're getting that natural reaction, people are going to be more with her reaction.
But they're not
either more behind it or more like, ugh.
I get what you're saying, but we're not seeing her live on TV. That's my thing. It's not like they're showing her live on Monday Night Raw doing the announcing. It's all after the fact. So that's my question. Is it her filming herself, or is it WWE have a camera on her all the time when she's sitting there?
Well, I will say that
WWE,
WWE does share a lot of it on their social media. So, like, now I understand both mindsets, because I was totally with what Chaz was saying, because it's all the time. I get what Glenn is saying, the emotional investment, it gives you relatability. But A, it's not just for the big matches, and B, it's all the time. And C, like Chaz said, it's like the match happens and the social media comes out weeks later.
But here's my question then. If someone's going to get emotionally involved, okay, and they're watching Monday Night Raw, and they hear her screaming how she screams, do they sit there and go, oh, I can't wait to go on fucking Instagram and watch how she announced this?
No, I think they feel her energy. I think they feel her energy.
Well, yes, they feel it through the TV, but they're not feeling it through a reel after the fact. That's my point.
No, but it might make them want to watch it more to see what she's reacting over. It might draw interest. Controversy, like we're talking about, it draws interest. There's no bad media.
I didn't say it was bad media. I was just curious of why it's happening. Because to me, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Because I could care less what the ring announcer looks like as they're announcing something. Like you said, it would have been great to see Chimmel, because it would have been like, oh, Chim would have been popping around.
Oh, Tony. We love you, Tony.
I mean, it's not like she's sitting there topless or anything. So, I mean, come on.
No. But I think that's what it is it's an emotional connection. Whether it's either, with, live or later on. They're like, oh, I'm going to go watch what she's emotionally connected to.
Okay.
Okay.
And Chaz, you had another question.
So I actually had two other ones. So maybe we should go with I think it will be a shorter answer, because I think we only got like 15 minutes left, I think. 20 minutes left. Again, Simon, you've done announcing. So the announcers are there to tell a story, not be part of the story.
Yes.
Pat McAfee, in my opinion, I'm not a fan.
I love Pat McAfee.
I've tried watching his show. I can't watch his show. I don't like it. But when he gets up and like Jey Uso comes out and he's yeeting with him, and he's up on the table, and he gets, and I realize, it's going to be, Glenn's going to have the same answer he just had about Samantha, is people get invested because he's so into it, but he's not supposed to be that into it. Never did you see Jim Ross get up. Never Michael Cole's never done that. Jerry Lawler's never done. It's almost to me. Hold on. Let me finish my thought. It's almost to me he's making it about himself by getting involved. And I realize you're a fan. He wants to be a mark. He wants to be a fan. That's all fine and dandy, but it's not about him. It's about getting the storyline over and whatever's going on. My opinion.
But Jerry Lawler did make it. Jerry used to do it all the time. Whether he would lose his crown and his robe at ringside and go in for a match right then and there, and then come back to the commentators saying,
"But that's part of the show."
But that's part of the show. That's part of the storyline. Jerry Lawler didn't just hold on. Jerry Lawler didn't all of a sudden on a Monday Night Raw take his crown off in his cape and say, "I'm jumping in that ring right now." No, that was part of the storyline.
So Pat McAfee is adding to the storyline. It's different now. It's to the point where, Pat McAfee, he's a thing. He's got one of the highest rated, or if not the highest rated podcast or show out there. So he's adding to, maybe the fans aren't 100% behind the Yeaton and stuff like that. And then they see McAfee do it and they're like, oh, it's cool. Let's do that too. It's like, Simon Sez, ha ha ha. Simon says I'm doing this, so everybody else do this. So I think it adds to it. I think it helps the talent get over more. Whether, you like him or not, Jerry Lawler, he helped the heels get over more because it was ha 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 ha, kind of thing and stuff like that. What exactly did his toe taste like?
So, oh, come on.
Yeah, but Lawler was different with it because he wasn't standing on the table. I mean, the only time he got up out of the chair was if it was part of the storyline. Other than that, so Pat McAfee's his job is to enhance the storyline, not be in the middle of it, unless it's part of the storyline. We all know him standing up. I mean, granted, he's obviously been given permission to do it because he wouldn't keep doing it if he wasn't supposed to. That's
why I think it's part of it.
And to me, like, Simon, you've done announcing. You did the Ring Warrior stuff. And so I don't know. What's your opinion with it?
So I think it's distracting. I think it's a little much because he does it for Jey Uso. He does it for Nakamura. And then even his commentary now, if you really listen, it sounds like he's trying to say stuff just to pop Michael Cole, just to get Michael Cole to break, just to get Michael to laugh. When I did the 2 or 3 seasons for Ring Warriors, the only time I even made myself seen was when Chaz would come to the ring. He would stop and like glare at me, and I would stand up and clap like, "Please don't beat me up," And when Carino came out, because I, made a point to be like, "Oh, Steve Carino's my best friend," even though we had never talked before. So that was the gag. But other than that, no, not even when Frankie and the Slambinos walked out. Like it was like you said about Samantha Irving, the ring announcer. Be heard and not seen. I think Pat goes out of his way a little too much to make sure that fans see him and know that he's there. So pick a role. Either you want to be a worker, you want to do the stuff you did at NXT, or you're going to be a commentator where you're not going to detract away from a guy making his entrance while you're standing on the announce table dancing and gyrating and He did stuff in NXT? He wrestled Adam Cole.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I'd be interested to get your take on that match, both of you guys.
Well, I'd have to watch it then. So, let's go back.
Story.
So, Simon, let's go back to last week real quick. We discussed the Usos match.
Oh my
WrestleMania.
God!
So Glenn watched it. So let's get his opinion. Go.
Now I'm gonna say this before Glenn. I don't mean to cut you off, Glenn, but for the people watching this, Glenn and Chaz, they are this in real life. This is not a show. This is not a put on. They are complete. I have known them for almost 14 years, and it is not a put on. Glenn, I am praying to the wrestling gods, and I'm glad you didn't watch the episode last week. I'm praying that you agree with our mentality for this match. That's all I'll say.
I wasn't a fan of it. It was okay. It was not their best work. I think they work better together than separate.
So why?
Yeah, I wasn't.
Hold on, because you're tiptoeing kind of like I did because we know them. So why?
Because I know them and I like them both.
But
Yes.
so why? But separate that, because I kind of separated a little bit of it, not a lot. I separated a little bit, right, Simon? Not a lot. I took
Not a lot.
But what didn't you like about it? Like I specifically had certain things I did not like about it.
It looks soft.
No. Oh my. Okay, so I don't have to be nice. It was the shits. I would be embarrassed if I was either of those guys. You guys are in the conversation for the greatest tag team of our generation. You guys are only the third time siblings that faced off at WrestleMania. And that's the chemistry you could pull out. The bell rings.
That's why
Nothing
I thought
happens.
it was soft.
19 super kicks.
So part of my problem with it,
John only needed one.
part of the problem I had with it was, and I brought it up last week, was the story could have been told so much better. I mean, Glenn, you've heard the stories of my brother and I. We literally beat the shit out of one another growing up. Shovels, rakes, cast on my hand. But it could have went so much more. Like if somehow Rikishi got involved.
Yeah.
Like the storyline they could have done more. They could have told more of a story with the match and then had it lead into something else, because it almost seems like WrestleMania ended and that feud ended. Because, then Jimmy gets kicked out of the bloodline the next week, and they interviewed Jay right after, and Jay's like, well, he had a chance to come with me. He didn't want to, but I have a match with Finn Balor tonight, so that's what I need to think about. Like, it's kind of like, okay, it's like it could have carried on to something bigger.
I just thought that, now thinking back on the match, I thought it was soft. Like they weren't like their normal selves. It looked like throughout the match, it kind of got lost.
Yes.
With different things going on. It was like like it looked lost.
Right.
That's why they are 100% better together than they are separate.
But like their spot during the main event on night 2 when they speared each other off the stage, that was more aggressive than the entirety of their match.
100%. And it looked great. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of the 1,000 super kicks and stuff like that, because we were brought up with Shawn Michaels gave you one, you were done. Was his just so much better than everybody else's now?
It meant more too, because if Shawn did a super kick, Shawn was on the card, a super kick, no one else on the card could do a super kick.
No.
I mean, there was no one else. You weren't allowed. Like, even Simon, you don't know this, but because our finisher with the powerbomb leg drop, that was questioned at first because people were doing that. Was Taker was doing it, Sid was doing it. The powerbomb part was actually questioned at first. We're like, well, that's kind of what we do, but no one else is dropping a leg with it. So
yeah.
But if someone else was doing a signature move, no one else on the card could do it.
Nobody.
First of all, it was kind of an unwritten rule, but the other side of it was just the respect factor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I me, I look like a Make-A-Wish kid, especially compared to you guys. I do one move and it's a big lariat. And even now when I work shows, I make sure no one else, and some guys look at me like I have an arm growing out of my forehead when I say, hey, make sure no one else throws a lariat. It's literally the only move I have. Like,
I was wondering what that was. It was weird looking. I just thought that was normal for them.
But yeah, I also so during WrestleMania, I kind of went on a tear on my Facebook, and one of the things I posted was, "Hey, remember when guys had finishers? Remember when finishers were a thing? Becky Lynch in the opening match of night 1 hit a rock bottom that her opponent kicked out of on a night where The Rock is in the main event. What?
Times are different.
I have no answer. I have no answer. No answer to that.
Times are different.
Yeah.
What? Come on now.
No answer for that.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Chaz, how much time do we have left? Because I don't want to give the cliffhanger too soon.
We got like 7 minutes left.
All right, then I'm just gonna put the question out there, but don't answer it yet.
Well, no, hold off for
Yeah.
okay. So did anyone watch Raw last night?
No.
So I literally tuned in at about a little after 10 because I was watching the Phillies game, which they've won 7 in a row. Woohoo! I was watching the Phillies game, and Drew McIntyre's in the ring. And while he's in the ring, Sheamus's music hits.
Oh boy.
Have you guys seen Sheamus?
All of them. All of him.
He literally looks like the fat bastard from
Austin
No,
Powers.
he does not.
Oh, yes. He looks like that. He's got a belly.
Glenn, he looks like he ate Sheamus.
He got in the ring.
No.
He got in the ring and he's doing the promo back and forth with Drew McIntyre. He's basically telling Drew to stop your fucking bitching. He's like, quit your bitching. He goes, you had the title, you let CM Punk get in your way and distract you and blah, 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 blah. And he goes, we had banger after banger after banger after banger of matches and blah, blah, blah. And it's Drew's turn to talk back. And it was great. Drew goes, you talked about us having banger after banger after banger. He goes, you literally look like you've been nothing but burger after burger after burger after burger. He's like,
I did see that clip.
They're in the back calling you like an oversized, overstuffed, like leprechaun. And like he just ripped Sheamus apart. But I don't know, it just goes back. And again, I know times are different, but back in our day, if you left and you had time off, you better come back in better shape than when you're. And I don't know if it's an angle with him coming back heavy because Sheamus did say, he goes, Drew, just remember one thing. I may be able to lose weight. He goes, but you'll always be stupid. So it was like, is that an angle of him coming back looking like the fat bastard? Because then he even got up on the ropes. He had a match with Nakamura or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah.
Shinsuke. And he gets up on the ropes after the match. He lifts his arm, and his tights were like up. And he pulled him down so his belly would flop down a little bit. Yeah, I mean, if you get a chance to go back and just at least watch the promo or watch that part, the end, where he literally is up on the ropes like this, and he pulls him down, and his belly flops around a little bit. Like,
yeah, Glenn, he's enormous.
An angle? Like, is it part of an angle of him coming back fat?
I can't say anything, so that's why I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, but in all fairness, hold on. You were never like chiseled out of stone. You were in shape, but like Sheamus had like a 6-pack and he wrestled shirtless. You never wrestled shirtless.
Thank God. And everybody out there, you're welcome.
I guess I brought it up. I guess I brought that up for a couple of reasons. One is I just thought it was funny how Drew McIntyre said, you've done nothing but eat burger after burger after burger. And then, Sheamus acknowledges, yeah, I'm fat, but I can lose weight. But then he pulls it down. Like, is it part of a story? I'm curious now. Is it part of a storyline?
Maybe it is. But you'll tune in next week to find out.
Yeah, maybe. If the Phillies aren't on, yes.
So here's the only thing that I caught from yesterday. It's only through Facebook and stuff like that. And that was the women's. I was so confused. There was a women's battle royal for the belt. And what happened to her?
Rhea hurt her shoulder.
Rhea, yeah.
Yeah, she's out. She hurt her shoulder. I don't know how, but she's out.
They did a backstage segment on the Raw. They did a backstage segment on the Raw after Mania where she got thrown into a wall by Liv Morgan, which ironically, last year, Rhea hurt Liv Morgan's shoulder in a similar way.
Right.
So maybe that's a storyline.
Well, I'm sure it is, especially since Liv was the last one to get eliminated, so Becky could win the belt. Yeah.
Which I'm sorry, Becky Lynch is not good. I'm sorry. I said that on Facebook and got flamed for it. Becky Lynch is not good in the ring.
I think after she came back from having the baby, her ring work changed.
She's like more tentative. She's more tentative.
Very much more tentative. And maybe it's because you have a life to take care of and stuff like that. We don't know how that changes for women. Simon, can you tell us? what it's like to have, we don't, I don't know. But yeah, she looks a little bit more tentative and a little bit more careful of her ring work. Because I remember Becky before she had the baby, and I remember seeing her nose on the side of her face, and she was the man. I mean,
yeah, but Glenn, that's what you're famous for. That's what launched you into superstardom. Someone else broke your face.
yeah, why not? You take it any way you can get it. Hey, we were famous for goddamn skirts. Jesus.
All right, Simon, we're winding down. Go ahead. Close us
All
out.
right, so here's my cliffhanger question. Knowing what you guys know now, your history, your time in the business, and what's going on now, if WWE called today and said, Chaz and Glenn, we're going to bring you guys back for WrestleMania 41, and you guys get to pick the team and pitch as a storyline, who would the team be? Any team that's still active in the business.
Oh, they have to be active.
Or not. They just have to be alive.
Oh my God.
What, you think you could pull a good match out of Demolition? Because I'll tell you what, Frankie and I couldn't.
Listen, I would have loved to have tried with that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, fair enough. All right, so that's all the time we got for. You want to hear that answer? Come back next week and tune in to next week, episode 6.
Wow.
Or if you don't want to hear that answer.
Yeah.
All right. Peace out. See you guys later.